Hello and welcome all my Ninjas, Little Warriors, and newcomers to this channel. I am Roy at Ninjazilla 90, and today I will be reviewing the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah Godzilla 1991 Heat Ray version. And let me tell you, this is a really awesome figure, and I got some things to say about him. So with that said, let's get started. And now, starting things off with the box, because you know we have to talk about really cool, awesome boxes on this channel when we have them, or in this case, while I still have them, because unfortunately, yeah, I'll end up having to get rid of this box because I just don't have room for the boxes. But anyway, first things first, we can see a really cool promotional picture of the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah Godzilla 1991 Heat Ray version, front and center, charging up his dorsal spines and blasting his super cool, awesome atomic heat ray out of his mouth. This is a really cool picture. I really like it. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm going to have to get rid of the box because, yeah, don't have any extra room for them. But I will be keeping the figure and accessories, though. But anyway, we do have the Exquisite Basic logo right there, letting you know what figure line this is from. And we have the Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah Japanese title movie font right there. And we have Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah written in English right there yet again. In the other corner of the box, we have the Godzilla logo. We have the Toho Company logo, which is the film company that makes all the Godzilla movies. We have the Hiya Toys logo right there. We have the name of the figure. Heat Ray Godzilla 1991 Hokkaido version. And of course, we have warning label, choking hazard, not for children under 3, for ages 16 and up. So yep, all you 15-year-olds, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. And that also means don't mistake this for a Snickers bar or a Slim Jim or a piece of candy or chicken McNuggets and get hungry and try to eat it because it's just not going to go over so well. But anyway, taking a look at the other side of the box, we have Heat Ray Godzilla 1991 Hokkaido version right there yet again. We have the Godzilla logo, the Toho Company logo again, and the Hiya Toys logo. And we have a really cool close-up shot of the figure with his face in a roaring pose, looking really cool. The other side of the box, we pretty much the same stuff on the other side, except we do have a close-up of the figure in a roaring pose again, just this time in a different position. But it still looks cool. Top of the box, it just says Heat Ray Godzilla 1991 Hokkaido version. Back of the box, we have a really cool promotional picture of the figure right there, blasting his heat ray. We have the Exquisite Basic logo from the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basics line. And then we have the Japanese movie title logo yet again. And the title of the movie that this figure is from, written in English. And we have some more information about Hiya Toys right there. And all the social media sites you could find it on. We have the Toho logo yet again. Trademark Toho Company. And we have a warning label written in Chinese letting you know it's not a piece of sushi, so don't try to eat it. And we have a QR code right there. We have a recycling logo and a barcode right there. And some more information about the figure written in Chinese. Yeah, I'm not about to try to read that. But anyway, that pretty much concludes it for the box. Now on to the figure. And now here we have the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah Godzilla 1991 Hokkaido heat ray version figure right here in all of its supercharged atomic heat ray glory. As you can see, first things first, this is a well sculpted, well detailed figure made by these super cool, awesome people at Hiya Toys. Of course, first thing I would have to say is this figure is slightly a lighter colorization than the regular basic version. If you do look at the skin, it is sort of a lighter charcoal gray than the basic version. And I do notice that some of the skin on this one is sort of a little semi-translucent, so I wonder if that has something to do with transitioning into the dorsal spines, which is a very beautiful icy blue color. Look at that. Really nice. And of course, I would also have to say that Hiya Toys done a really nice job on the eyes, looking really realistic. And also, this one does have a little bit more bone white grayish paint on those little dorsal, I wouldn't say dorsal spines, but little like bony ridges on the top of his head. So that's definitely a definite improvement over the original basic version. And also, I should have went over it. If you do look at his teeth, and yeah, we already know we do have jaw articulation, because I've showed this on the original version. We do have some nice weathered bone white colorization in the teeth, so Hiya done a really good job. And we do see the socket for the heat ray at the top of his palate there, on top of his at the top of his mouth. You see that? That's where you're going to plug that heat ray in. Of course, his tongue is articulated, but yeah, I'm not going to try to get in there and fool with that. Because anyway, I did have to fix the jaw on mine, because the jaw on mine was defective out of the box. It wasn't glued on correctly. But I did report that to Big Bad Toy Store, and they did refund me for the figure. But however, I was able to fix the jaw, and so yeah. I got this figure for free practically. All it took was a little Loctite, and yeah, it is done. But anyway, going over articulation with this figure, it's pretty much the same song and dance you get with the basic version, so there's nothing any different here when it comes to articulation when you already have the basic version, but I'm still going to go over it anyway for you guys. We can look up, we can look down, we can look right, we can look left, and we could do a full-on 360 cranium revolvus, and the opposite way. And of course, we do have a ball joint in the shoulders, so we could bring the shoulders out like so, and we could bring the elbows out because we do have double joints in the elbows, and we could bring them back down. We can rotate the arms up about that far, so Godzilla can raise his hands and praise the Lord if he wants to, and bring them back down. But I do have to give a quick warning. His shoulder joints are pretty stiff, so do keep that in mind. That's one thing I would have to say the SH Monster Arts version has a little advantage over the Hiya Toys version with is shoulder articulation. But other than that, I still think the Hiya Toys versions are better, in my personal opinion. Your opinion can differ, but everybody's subject to their own, okay? But anyway, we do have a bicep swivel, so we can swivel those biceps all the way around, a full 360, like so. And I think we could also swivel his whole forearm, like so, if we choose to. We could also rock the wrist forward and back, like so. And we can spin the wrists or the hands on the wrists a full 360, like so. We do have really good waist articulation, so we do have a really nice ab crunch there, although it really doesn't or bend down that much. And I would say that's another thing. The Monster Arts version does have a little bit better of an ab crunch, but it's doable for me. It's not exactly perfect, but it's not the end of the world either. So that really doesn't bother me. Moving right along to the lower body portion of the figure, and the legs and the knees and the feet are well sculpted. And like I said, Hiya does a really nice mani-pedi on these figures, because look at that bone white dry brushing, or bone white weathered dry brushing on those hand claws and toe claws. Really nice. Definitely got to give Hiya Toys all the credit where credit is due for that. But anyway, moving right along to the lower body portion of the figure, like I was saying, for his hip articulation, the hips can spread out about that much, so we can get about that much of a range out of them. We can bring them back in, but yeah, I'm demonstrating, they are a bit stiff, just like the shoulder joints, so do keep that in mind. We can rotate them all the way around, well, about that much, so we can rotate them out. Yeah, we can't really go all the way around with them, but that's about as much as we can rotate them. So yeah, that's yeah, it is. Rotating those hip joints is giving me kind of a workout, not gonna lie. But anyway, we do have a double joint in those hips, in those knees, so we could bend those knees about that far, and then about that far forward. And we do have a ball joint in the ankles, so we can point those feet down like so and up. And I believe we can also rotate them a full 360 like so. And another thing I noticed, I noticed is not that big of a deal, and I really don't cover this too much when I'm reviewing figures, but I did notice something on the feet. We have Hiya Toys, it says it's made in China 2025. We have trademark, and we have, instead of it saying Toho Company, it just says TH for some reason instead of TOHO. I don't know why. They just abbreviated on the feet for some reason. And I checked my regular basic version, and it's the same thing. But if you check the other Hiya Toys Godzilla releases, they have the whole complete Toho Company logo on the feet. So I don't know why. I just don't know why that is, but it is. I'm just pointing that out, that I did notice that. But anyway, getting to the tail of the figure before I forget, tail articulation. And before I get into tail articulation, let's just acknowledge these very beautiful dorsal spines this figure has. Just look at that. Nice. Really, really nice. Like I said, very nice icy blue colorization with these very beautiful bone white tips here. Looking really, really nice. Very, very, very beautiful. Look at that. It's almost like crystal-like, sort of. Very nice. Crystal-like as in very sparkly and shiny. Very beautiful. Very beautiful indeed. But anyway, getting into tail articulation. And the tail, and like I said, if you watched my review of the regular basic version, although that review was kind of long, and yeah, I was reviewing that figure sick, I'm not going to lie. But I am feeling better now, but I'm going to go over tail articulation with this one, just like I did with the basic version. And just to clear it up and get it out the way, yes, this Godzilla has some of the best tail articulations that you can possibly get in any Godzilla figure to date. But anyway, the tail we could go up like about this far. We could put it in a nice vertical S curve like so. So we can do that. And we could even bring like the end up like so if we want to. And of course we can do an S curve this way if we want to. And we can bring it the opposite way as well. You can pose this tail in all sorts of ways. And we can curl his tail like so. We can basically whip his own self in the legs with this tail. That's how good this tail articulation is on this figure. Like seriously. You cannot touch his toes with his tail, or touch his neck or his head with his tail with the SH Monsters version of the 91. That's how good tail articulation is on this figure. And of course, we can do the world famous Godzilla versus Ghidorah, or Godzilla versus the Smog Monster flying pose. All I need is the heat ray, which I will get in a second. So we can do all that good stuff. And we can even put him in a swimming pose if we want to. So let me get him in a nice the new movie accurate or best swimming pose I possibly can. So we can kind of sort of replicate what Bandai and Tamashii Nations were doing when they were advertising the first ever SH Monsters Godzilla, the 94, which I wasn't able to get back in the day. But anyway, getting to accessories with this figure. We do have his heat ray, obviously, because this is the heat ray version. And I did demonstrate in my review for the basic version that this heat ray is compatible with the basic version. However, there is some sharp, pointy pieces on this heat ray that can possibly cut you and make you bleed if you're not careful. So do be careful, because see these spikes right here? Right here and right here, and even along the up here and here, like these sharp pointy parts. If you're not careful, let me see. Yeah, if you're not careful, I don't know if you can see that indentation. That can tear into your skin. So just handle with caution. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Handle with caution. So to get it in his mouth, you want to, let me bring this up closer so you can see. You just simply open his mouth like so, and you take this heat ray right here, and you see this, this plug right here that goes in the roof of his mouth, and there you have it. He's blasting his heat ray like so. Looking really cool. I really like it. Very nice. I like it a lot, and it looks cool. Now, of course, we do also have two interchangeable hands, so we do have some handy accessories with this figure as well. So we do have some slightly splayed open hand, well, not splayed open, some like sort of like a semi gripping hand, sort of, so you can change those out with these. I guess if you want Godzilla holding something, I don't know. I guess if you want to kind of like grab stuff, like maybe like replicate like things you do, like you can do in like Godzilla Save the Earth and Destroy All Monsters Melee, like where you can like grab buildings and throw at your opponent, and like, I don't know, like smoke stacks off of like different factories and stuff, and you could use that as weapons. How you could do in Godzilla Save the Earth. I guess that's what that's for. But anyway, yeah, that pretty much concludes it for this review. If I have to give this figure a final score based on detail, articulation, and playability, I have to give this figure a drum roll, please. And when it comes to detail, articulation, and playability, I have to give this figure a well-deserved, fair but square, knocked out of the park, absolutely awesome, 10 out of 10. Why? Although it does have some imperfections, and a few things about it I think could be better, but however, I definitely have to cut it some slack for what it is, and especially for the lower, more affordable price tag. When it comes to Hiya Toys and SH Monster Arts, Hiya Toys for me is more reasonable, so I definitely got to cut it some leeway for that. I think this is a well worth it figure, especially for the $50 to $60 range. Hard to go wrong. I would suggest picking him up. Now, unfortunately, he is back on pre-order on BigBadToyStore.com, so I can give you the link for the pre-order. But however, yeah, he's not readily available in stock right now again, so you gotta pre-order him again. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, but, you know, don't feel bad because some of the Hiya Toys Godzilla Exquisite Basic figures I haven't pre-ordered yet. I mostly just wait for them to be readily available. Sold out at Big Bad, so I'm going to have to get them at different places, or unless they come back in stock once they get released. I know the Scar King and the Monster X Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic sold out at Big Bad, so yeah, I'm going to have to find those somewhere else or wait till they come back in stock. Now, of course, they do come back in stock regularly now, which is good, because I noticed the Basic 91 came back in stock at Big Bad before I was able to make the order, so that's good, because I thought I was going to have to get that one from Entertainment Earth. But, yeah, Big Bad Toy Store had them, so Hiya Toys is regularly restocking figures now, so that's a definite plus. So if they sell out, chances are you're probably going to be able to get it shortly afterwards, and it's not going to be that much longer of a wait. But anyway, guys, yeah, that pretty much concludes it for this review. I know I'm talking a lot, but anyway, I don't write scripts for this, so yeah, it's all improv. But anyway, guys, yeah, that pretty much concludes it for this review for the final time. As always, thank you guys all so much for watching. Your viewership is much appreciated. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And to wrap it all up, stay safe, take care, stay positive, stay powered up. God bless, and peace out.